Kalimera, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Christos and Kiefer team, for having us in this fantastic venue. Maybe at the end of my presentation, I'll also mention why this is an incredibly important day for us. A lot has been said about sovereign AI. Maybe I'll start off by telling you more how we work across Central and Eastern Europe. My name is Roman Choda, as introduced. I'm responsible for over 20 countries across Central and Eastern Europe, which means over 20 governments, 20 flags, almost 20 different currencies, etc. But there's one underlying pinpoint for all of the countries, which is sovereign AI. Now, given the amount or the number of LLMs that we have across the region, which is now over 6 that are being used in production, we see the component of sovereign AI across governments, institutions, enterprises as being something of utmost importance for now and for future development. I think Carlo spoke a lot about how we work with the ecosystem that we have across the world, across EMEA, across CE. I think what's most important from our perspective is that we're, as a group of countries, very dependent on public sector. So a lot of our verticals across these countries are correlated with public sector, either regulated or controlled by local governments. Now, what we do as NVIDIA, we not only work with these institutions locally, I'll say a little bit more about that on the next slides, but we work with governments specifically to help them build their sovereign AI strategy. I can mention an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding, that were recently signed with the government of the Ukraine for the future cooperation with their public sector institutions, and we're working on a number of other MOUs across the region. AI centers of excellence, these are the pinpoints where we can start the expansion by country. Carlo mentioned that we have one in Poland. I think we'll be growing that ecosystem as well. We have Kiefer in Greece. When we look at this group of countries, we typically see clusters of countries working together. So because we have a territory all the way from the Baltic states down to Greece, Cyprus, Malta, etc., Ukraine, Poland, we see groups of countries working together. And I think this will be a similar trend with Greece and neighboring countries, as this is something that we have also spoken to Kiefer about. The intelligence, this is something that we bring to the table jointly as Deloitte, Kiefer, and NVIDIA. I'll mention this in a moment when I go into a little bit more into verticals. And that's when the whole picture becomes, coherent. Elements of an AI factory, this was again mentioned earlier, but I think what's important to underline here, that if we look at, for example, our cooperation with Kiefer, it started literally from an email in January of this year. This was an email from Christos, short email, Jakub, I don't remember, a couple of lines, I think, that there is interest in Kiefer and in Greece of starting to build an AI factory and AI infrastructure. And over the year, not only the LLM that was just shown was developed and made public and is in production, the whole infrastructure model was built and is being expanded, as Christos showed on his presentation, will be expanded within the coming years, all within 1 year. This is unheard of in terms of the speed of development of an industry up to now. So this is not something that we see as something that is coming of the future, but this is something that we're a part of right now as we speak. What we as NVIDIA do is we work directly with companies like Kiefer to support the infrastructure that you see on the slide across the board. So if we have development that we have internally started, we team up with Kiefer to understand how that development can even further accelerate the infrastructure being run by the local AI factory in the country. Okay, this is a slide that shows how we work with the ecosystem across the countries. So I don't know if you're familiar with these companies, 11 Labs, JetBrains. 11 Labs formerly out of Poland, JetBrains out of the Czech Republic, Neurotechnology out of Lithuania, UiPath, Infobip out of Romania. These are companies that started their businesses on the NVIDIA software stack. All of them work in different areas, but associated with AI mostly. Now, the way we operate with these ISVs, as we call them, we support them with the applications that we as NVIDIA have. Obviously, we're interested in working with them and growing their business, but we move towards a powered by NVIDIA model for the purpose of jointly developing the ecosystems around the world. So I'm sure there will be a name up on this list coming out of Greece pretty soon. Not sure exactly when, but we're working on this with Kiefer. So, and we're really happy to have these companies join us, because if you look at the valuation of these companies, they started small. Okay, 11 Labs started in Poland. Now they're an American company being run out of the UK and the US, worth over $11 billion and growing, as are the other companies. So typically the big SAPs, Oracles that you see across the region, yes, we work with them, but these types of companies are super important to the local ecosystem. They help the ecosystem thrive and build the autonomous AI infrastructure in the country itself. Okay, just maybe a quick comment on the NVIDIA stack, so to speak. Carlo mentioned how an AI factory looks, what the physical infrastructure that we have is that we develop and deliver. I think what is the part that is worth mentioning here is the middle layer and the top layer. This is the actual software and the underlying frameworks and platforms that we deliver to certain verticals in the market. Then these verticals can be developed for the purpose of building AI use cases. So we have numerous AI use cases across all the industries. We will have a presentation on energy and utilities shortly, finance and insurance, healthcare, and we will show you how we can build AI use cases across these industries for the purpose of giving some sort of introduction, giving leverage into a discussion. But typically, the way we work with enterprise clients, governments, public sectors, is we find an area which is of most importance to a government where they want to start their AI journey. So either it's a specific industry or a specific ministry, such as healthcare or the judicial system in a country or Ministry of Defense, be it. There are numerous use cases that we jointly develop with our ecosystem. So this is where the puzzle comes together. We have Deloitte with their silicon to service offering across CE and now across EMEA, as I understand, that focuses on the NVIDIA software stack for the purpose of applying that for specific industries. Industries like medical imaging. This is a great example. We're working with one of the ministries of health in CE, specifically on accelerating radiology for that country, based on Monai, which is an NVIDIA component. So Deloitte is developing that, working with the AI factory ecosystem, such as Kiefer in Greece, and then delivering that to the government, to the institution, to the commercial client. An interesting example is public safety. We call this area smart spaces. So these are systems built for the purpose of running a city, its infrastructure, monitoring the traffic, issuing traffic tickets. We're doing 5 POCs, proof of concept projects across CE, one of which is in Greece. It's not very popular because of the amount of tickets it's generating. So we're now speaking to the city council to get a better understanding of how we can make this project more, let's say, streamlined for specific Greek purposes, or Greek to accommodate the Greek necessary. An interesting example is also the financial services industry. This is one of the main industries where it all started for the acceleration of transactions. This is playing tricks on me, I'm sorry, but anyway. Maybe one comment on the unique place where Greece has in the CE ecosystem. So my colleague that was before me mentioned that we as Greece still have a long way to go in terms of the positioning in the AI Adoption Global Index across Europe. But in terms of CE, when we look at Greece is number 3 number 3, number 4, across these 20-plus countries in terms of development, in terms of the talent ecosystem and research. So I'm sure Greece will thrive, and we will definitely work with Kiefer and the Greek government in utilizing the talent that you have in Greece across CE for the purpose of delivering sovereign AI for the benefit of the countries, the governments, the institutions. So having said that, I think it's lunch now, right? No, not yet. Cohen. Coffee. Okay, so we have a coffee break. Following that coffee break, we will have presentations specifically around verticals that I mentioned. The NVIDIA team is here. The Deloitte team is here. We're happy to answer any of your questions. Feel free to approach us, and thank you very much.